Welcome back. Today we will deal with a window for options, where players can select whether they want to see daily comments or no, and set the default pet's name. Just to remind, we created this window while making the main menu. Let's start by customizing window properties to remove the default Windows OS style for a window. Let's change the title. We won't see the title after we remove the default border, but let's change it anyway. Next, let's decrease the height to make it a bit smaller, like this. Let's also decrease the width. This should be enough for our options. Now, we should not be able to resize this window, so no resize. Also, Windows startup location should be center screen. As for Windows style, when we set it to none, the default border gets removed, along with the title. Okay, next, let's change the font family to our custom font. So, PEC, colon, application, colon, comma, 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 hash, Kevivana. Good. Also, when we open this window, we will load the settings from here. We will load the default name and daily comments. We'll need access to the loaded event. We will leave it empty for now. Also, we will need to save our settings when we close this window. So we will modify the closed event, and also let's increase the default font size to 14. By default, I think it's 10 or 12. Next, we will make a fancy double border for this window. So border, and inside we will have another border. So the outer border will have a border brush like FF00B5C5. Okay. Change thickness to 5. Good. We will also need a corner radius, so let's set it to 2. Good. Also, let's set the background. It won't be the background for all this window, but only between the outer border and the inner border. So hash FF A2F2 FE. Well, okay. Okay, now the inner border. Let's set the border brush to, let's make it the same, but the border thickness will be less, like 2. And the corner radius should be equal, so again 2. Let's make its background white. Actually, we need to see it more clearly, so let's add some margin to it. Just a tiny 1 pixel margin. Inside we will have a stack panel with margin of 10. And here we will finally place our controls for settings. So first of all, we will allow the player to change whether he or she will see daily comments or no. So let's create a checkbox, checkbox daily comments. Let's set its margin just to separate it from the control below it. Let's add a text block like text default pet's name. Now also we need a text for this checkbox. Let's type daily comments. We need a text box to type the default pet's name. We need its name to access it from code. So tb name. Set the default text to Rex, we need to separate it from the control below it. And below we will have a button. It does not need a name, but it does need a click. So let's create button click. Good. And let's set its content to the check mark. We used it somewhere, I think, in select pet and also in game. Good. And let's decrease its width to say 50. Good. Well, that's it for this text panel and the border and the window. Now let's increase the font size for this button to make a larger check mark. So window resources, style, set it target type to button, so X colon type button. Now make a setter for property font size and set the value to 22. Let's go and code this window. When the window is loaded, I just open. We need to set checkbox to checked or unchecked. So change its is checked property to read it from settings. So settings, default, and our setting is called the same daily comments. Good. Now we also need to set the default pet's name to this text box. So db name text equals string. Again, settings, next default, and access our setting called default name. Default name. Good. And when the window is closed, we need to do reverse. So settings default daily comments equals checkbox daily comments dot is checked. Good. And the same here. Oh, so settings default name equals db name text. Good. And we need to save these settings. So settings default and call the save method. And next our check button. Whatever we do here, we just need to close it, because this method will cause this event to fire. So let's check it. We will change a few settings. Well, we have only two. So let's disable daily comments and change the default name to say Ralph, I guess. So options, and let's disable daily comments and set the default pet's name to say Ralph. I guess it is written as so. Yeah, you see it is saved. Let's play it. So we have our default pet's name and our daily comments were here, and you see they are invisible now. And if we exit the game and start it again, our settings should be saved. So no daily comments, and the default pet's name should be Ralph. And yeah, you see our settings are saved. So let's enable them again. Good. And good. So now players can change some settings. There is one thing that we need to do. We haven't started to use many resources, but we need to think for future release of unmanaged resources, which will grow. So let's open our main window, the CS file, and according to Microsoft documentation, this can be done via implementing a dispose method. So first of all, let's inherit from the iDisposable interface. press Ctrl dot and implement all members explicitly. So let's move it up. So void iDisposable dispose, and instead of throwing not implemented exception, let's leave it empty, like this. And that's it. Now let's just copy it to main menu. It's code. So again, inherit from iDisposable and paste void iDisposable, the dispose method. Next game. So iDisposable and paste the method dispose. So in theory, this should free some resources that are unmanaged. So thank you for watching and see you next time. Subscribe to see more tutorials.